I transformed my small garden into a magical retreat with Dollar Tree DIYs, and you can too. Hey there, fellow plant lovers and dream space creators. Welcome back to Earthly Delights, where small spaces bloom and big ideas grow. If you're the kind of person who walks into a garden center and feels like you're entering a temple, or if your heart skips a beat when you see a tiny sprout push through the soil, then you're in the right place. Maybe your patio, balcony, or backyard is feeling a bit neglected. Maybe you're craving that sense of peace, beauty, and inspiration every time you step outside, but you're working with a tight budget or a space that barely fits a table, let alone a garden. I get it. I've been there. But let me tell you something I've learned after years of growing greenery and building sanctuaries from scratch. You don't need a luxury budget or a massive yard to create a space that feels like a dream. Sometimes, all it takes is a little creativity, a few humble tools from Dollar Tree, and the willingness to see beauty where others overlook it. In this video, I'm going to show you how I transformed my own uninspired patio into a soulful retreat, one budget DIY at a time. These ideas are for you, the indoor plant nurturers, balcony gardeners, and weekend warriors with dirt under your nails and hope in your heart. Ready to turn your corner of the world into something magical? Then don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join the Earthly Delights family. We're just getting started. Part 1. Laying the foundation. Beauty starts here. Before you add the twinkle lights or the fancy touches, every garden transformation needs a strong, beautiful foundation. And no, I'm not talking about pouring concrete. I mean setting the tone. The first few details should ground your space, give it structure, and hint at the magic that's coming next. 1. DIY faux concrete planters. Let's start with something simple that makes a huge impact. Planters. Now, if you're anything like me, you've probably stared longingly at those designer pots in garden catalogs, only to back away slowly when you see the price tag. But here's the secret. You can fake that high-end look with just a few supplies from Dollar Tree. I grabbed some plain plastic planters, nothing fancy, and gave them a total makeover. First, a base coat of white spray paint. Then, I gently misted over it with a gray tone, layering in soft textures to mimic real concrete. Suddenly, those dull pots looked modern, sleek, and surprisingly expensive. What I love most is how this one small upgrade makes your plants pop. It gives them a place of honor, like they're part of a curated display. For less than the cost of a takeout lunch, you've just elevated your entire garden corner. And that's only the beginning. 2. Garden mosaic stepping stones. Now let's talk about something that adds both beauty and meaning. Mosaic stepping stones. This was one of my favorite projects, not just because it turned out gorgeous, but because it felt personal. I picked up some plastic trays and colorful glass gems from Dollar Tree. Then, using some quick-set grout and a bit of creativity, I created stepping stones that looked like pieces of art scattered across the ground. You can spell out a word, make a sunburst pattern, or even embed a leaf for a natural touch. These little paths don't just guide your feet, they tell a story. Every time I walk over mine, I'm reminded that this space is mine. Handmade, thoughtfully crafted, and totally unique. Whether you have a sprawling yard or just a narrow garden strip, adding mosaic stepping stones can turn a plain surface into something poetic. 3. Upcycled boho-style outdoor rug. Let's be honest, an outdoor rug is like eyeliner for your patio. It defines the space, gives it character, and makes everything feel intentional. But those big, weatherproof rugs can be ridiculously expensive. So I made my own. I started with an old faded rug I had tucked away in storage. Then I grabbed some cotton rope and fabric dye from Dollar Tree. Using a few large leaves as natural stencils, I stamped leafy patterns across the surface. The rope helped create borders, and suddenly that tired old mat was reborn into a boho-style showpiece. This DIY is great if you want a cozy, earthy vibe without spending a cent on new materials. It's also a chance to express your style, whether that's tribal patterns, soft pastels, or botanical prints. Every time I step onto it now, barefoot and coffee in hand, I feel like I've entered a quiet retreat instead of just my own patio. Part 2. Let there be light, evening magic for plant lovers. When the sun dips low and the air turns cool, that's when the garden truly comes alive. Lighting doesn't just help you see, it creates atmosphere, sets the mood, and makes your space feel like a secret getaway. And with a few clever DIYs, you can bring that golden hour magic to life. 4. Floating candle planters. There's something magical about candlelight dancing across water. It instantly transforms your garden into a calming sanctuary. For this DIY, I used shallow plastic bowls from Dollar Tree, filled them with water, and floated a few small tea light candles on the surface. To add a natural touch, I sprinkled in some flower petals and clipped herbs like lavender or mint. The scent, the shimmer, the stillness, it all combined into this serene little moment that felt straight out of a spa. These floating candle planters are perfect for evenings when you want to slow down. Set them on a side table, tuck them into plant corners, or even line your walkway with them. It's an incredibly affordable way to add elegance to your outdoor space. And the best part? You can change the colors or flowers depending on your mood or the season. It's peace in a bowl, literally. 5. DIY elegant candle holders. Next up, let's turn simple glass into pure gold. Literally. I took a few plain glass vases from Dollar Tree, the kind you'd probably overlook on the shelf, and gave them a dramatic transformation with gold spray paint. The trick is in the layering. I gave each vase a few light coats, letting the paint catch just enough light to look metallic without feeling too flashy. Then I placed tall white candles inside. When they're lit, the glow reflects off the gold and creates this luxurious, cozy ambiance that feels straight out of a designer catalog. Set them on your patio table, beside a planter, or cluster them in a corner to add depth and warmth. These elegant candle holders don't just light the space, they elevate it. Every time I sit out there at dusk, watching the flickering light bounce off the greenery, I feel like I'm somewhere far away, even if it's just 10 steps from my kitchen door. 6. Glass bottle lanterns. Here's a charming little secret. Those empty glass bottles sitting in your recycling bin? They're your next set of designer lanterns. I grabbed a few clear bottles from Dollar Tree, wrapped some jute twine around the necks, and secured it with hot glue. That simple touch gave them a rustic, handcrafted look that blended beautifully with the rest of my garden decor. Inside each bottle, I dropped a small battery-powered tea light. When the sun goes down and those soft lights start to glow, the entire vibe shifts. It's warm, welcoming, and honestly feels like you're at a wine garden in the south of France. You can line them along your patio edge, hang them from hooks, or scatter them around your plants. They catch the light just right and add depth to even the smallest outdoor corners. The best part? They're practically free, easy to make in minutes, and they never fail to make guests say, "Wait, you made those?" Part 3. Grow up. Vertical greenery for small spaces. If your floor space is limited, but your love for plants is limitless, it's time to think vertically. Growing up instead of out is the smartest way to bring more life into compact patios or balconies. In this next section, we'll explore simple, stunning ways to turn your walls into living art. 7. Floating plant shelves. One of my favorite space-saving tricks is floating plant shelves. These aren't just functional, they're a statement. I found basic wooden shelves at Dollar Tree and gave them a quick upgrade with metallic gold spray paint to add a touch of glam. Then I mounted them vertically along an outdoor wall, spacing them just enough to let plants cascade naturally. Think trailing pothos, ivy, or even small ferns, plants that love to spill over and soften the structure beneath them. The result? A cascading green waterfall that instantly elevates any plain wall into a lush focal point. What I love most is how customizable it is. You can switch out plants seasonally or add little decorative items between them. It's like a living shelf gallery that changes with your mood. Whether you're working with a tiny balcony or a full backyard wall, this simple project brings your plant love up to eye level and beyond. 8. DIY planter ladder. Have an awkward corner on your patio that never seems to come alive? That's where my DIY planter ladder came in. I used a few wooden planks from Dollar Tree to build a simple, leaning ladder frame. No fancy tools needed, just a bit of sanding and some outdoor-safe paint. I went with a soft gray to keep things modern and neutral. Each rung of the ladder became a platform for a small potted plant. I mixed in herbs, succulents, and a few flowering favorites to give it variety. The vertical layout adds height and depth to your space without crowding your walking area. This ladder became one of my favorite elements in the garden. It's compact, mobile, and totally customizable. You can even add name tags for each plant or hang garden tools from the sides. For me, it turned a dead corner into a layered, lively focal point and gave my plant babies a beautiful new home. 9. Vertical pocket garden from a shower caddy. Who knew a humble shower caddy could become the star of a vertical garden? I stumbled on this idea while organizing my bathroom and realized those wire shelves are perfect for holding small pots. I picked up a few metal caddies from Dollar Tree, gave them a fresh coat of spray paint to match my garden palette, and mounted them to an outdoor wall using sturdy hooks. Then came the fun part, filling them with compact herbs like basil and thyme, plus small trailing plants like string of pearls and creeping jenny. Each pocket became a mini oasis. The best thing about this project? It's ideal for renters or anyone with limited space. You can hang the caddies on a fence, balcony railing, or even a trellis. It's vertical gardening at its easiest and most charming. Every time I water mine, I smile at how something so ordinary turned into one of the most delightful parts of my garden. Part 4. Boho meets practical, seating, sounds, and texture. A garden isn't just for growing plants. It's a place to rest, to reflect, and to feel at home. In this next part, we'll add warmth, comfort, and a little bit of whimsy. From cozy handmade seating to soft sounds that ride the breeze, these DIYs make your space not only beautiful, but soulful. 10. DIY wooden pallet sofa. Every peaceful garden retreat needs a cozy place to sit, and my DIY pallet sofa became exactly that. I found a couple of wooden pallets at a local hardware shop and cleaned them up with sandpaper and a soft gray outdoor stain. You can also find mini pallet alternatives at Dollar Tree if you're working on a smaller scale. After stacking and securing them into a sturdy base, I topped them with thick seat cushions and added colorful throw pillows from, you guessed it, Dollar Tree. A soft blanket draped over the arm gave it that inviting, curl-up-with-a-book vibe. This sofa became my favorite spot in the entire garden. Whether I'm sipping morning tea, journaling in the afternoon sun, or stargazing at night, it's a space that feels handcrafted and personal. And the best part? It cost a fraction of store-bought furniture, but feels like $1 million in comfort and charm. 11. Macrame plant hangers. If you've ever wanted your garden to feel a little more artistic, a little more soulful, macrame is the answer. These handmade plant hangers add texture, movement, and a touch of bohemian magic to any outdoor space. And trust me, they're easier to make than you think. I picked up some cotton rope from Dollar Tree and followed a simple knotting tutorial online. Within an hour, I had a few beautifully crafted hangers ready to display my favorite trailing plants. Ferns, pothos, spider plants. They all looked stunning, gently swaying in the breeze. What I love most is how macrame elevates your plants, both literally and visually. Hanging them frees up floor space and draws the eye upward, making your space feel taller and more open. It's also incredibly meditative to make. Tying each knot feels like a quiet little ritual. These hangers brought softness and warmth to my garden nook. And every time I pass by, they remind me that handmade is always more meaningful. 12. Recycled tin can wind chimes. There's something magical about hearing the soft tinkle of wind chimes in the garden. It's like nature whispering back to you. For this DIY, I didn't need to buy anything fancy. I simply grabbed a few empty tin cans from my recycling bin, cleaned them thoroughly, and gave them new life with leftover spray paint in soft gold and silver tones. Once dry, I drilled a tiny hole in the bottom of each can and threaded them onto strings of twine, adding wooden beads for a bit of extra charm. I hung the strands from a piece of driftwood I'd found on a nature walk, then mounted the whole thing near my seating area. Now, whenever a breeze rolls through, the cans dance gently and release the sweetest metallic chimes, soft, soothing, and completely unique. These wind chimes added not only sound but soul to my garden space. And the fact that they cost almost nothing made them feel even more special. It's proof that even your trash cans sing, if you know how to listen. Part 5. Garden Centerpieces and Touches of Whimsy. Now that we've built comfort and warmth, it's time to add personality. This is where your garden really starts to feel like you. In this part, we'll craft a few playful, eye-catching pieces. Those little details that make guests smile and make you fall in love with your space all over again. 13. DIY terrarium table centerpiece. There's something enchanting about a miniature landscape under glass. It's like holding a tiny world in your hands. For this project, I used a simple glass bowl from Dollar Tree and layered it with small pebbles, coarse sand, preserved moss, and a few mini succulents. I arranged the elements thoughtfully, making sure each layer peeked through the sides. A tiny driftwood branch and a few polished stones added natural texture. The result? A living centerpiece that brings serenity to any table. What I love about terrariums is how calming they are to make and to look at. They add a boho organic vibe and become instant conversation starters. I placed mine in the center of my outdoor table, where it catches the light during the day and becomes softly silhouetted at night. It's not just decoration, it's a piece of living art. And every time I see it, I'm reminded of how beauty can be built, layer by layer, with just a few simple elements and a whole lot of heart. 14. Mosaic tabletop using Dollar Tree tiles. That old side table you've been thinking of tossing? Don't. It's about to become the crown jewel of your garden seating area. I took a worn-out wooden table and gave it a total makeover using ceramic mosaic tiles from Dollar Tree. Yes, the kind you'd usually find in a bathroom aisle. I arranged the tiles in a sunburst pattern, mixing whites, blues, and earthy tones to reflect the garden around me. A little grout and a steady hand later, the table was unrecognizable. It went from yard sale leftover to boutique cafe centerpiece in a single afternoon. This DIY isn't just about looks, it adds function too. The tile surface is weather-resistant and easy to clean, making it perfect for setting down drinks, flower pots, or even a morning breakfast tray. Now, every time I sit outside, I run my fingers over the textured surface and smile. It's a reminder that beauty doesn't come from brand names. It comes from what you create with your own two hands. 15. Dollar Tree bird bath hack. No garden is complete without a little visit from nature, and this DIY bird bath brings just that, with zero plumbing or fancy parts. I took a sturdy plant stand from Dollar Tree and paired it with a wide, shallow plastic bowl. After painting both in a soft stone gray finish to blend with my garden tones, I simply secured the bowl on top using outdoor adhesive. To make it feel extra special, I added a few decorative pebbles inside and placed it near some flowering plants to draw the birds in. And they came. Little finches, sparrows, even a curious hummingbird or two, stopping by for a sip or a quick splash. This tiny feature changed the entire mood of my garden. The sound of fluttering wings and soft chirps added life and joy in a way no decor ever could. It reminded me that a garden isn't just for us, it's for every living thing we share this space with. And that connection? That's what makes a garden feel truly alive. Part 6, creating a mood, finishing touches with personality. We're in the home stretch now, and this is where your garden truly comes to life. The final details are what tie everything together. The glow of evening lights, textures that invite you in, and quiet moments of surprise. These last few DIYs add personality, warmth, and a little everyday magic to your green space. 16. Rope light string planters. If you've ever dreamed of a garden that glows like a fairy tale after sunset, this one's for you. I took simple hanging planters from Dollar Tree and wrapped rope lights around the outside of each basket, securing them gently with clear zip ties. When night falls, these planters emit the softest golden light, casting delicate shadows from the leaves and flowers inside. It's like each plant becomes its own lantern, glowing from within. I filled mine with trailing vines like ivy and sweet potato leaves, which look especially enchanting when backlit. The beauty of this project is in how effortless it feels. There are no wires to bury or bulbs to replace, just a battery pack tucked behind a pot and a flick of a switch. And just like that, your garden goes from pleasant to magical. I can't tell you how many evenings I've sat outside, tea in hand, surrounded by softly glowing greenery, completely at peace. It's an experience you'll want to return to night after night. 17. DIY twinkle light garden stakes. Want to add a touch of starlight to your garden paths or planter beds? This DIY is pure magic in its simplicity. I picked up a few wooden dowels and a set of battery-operated fairy lights from Dollar Tree. After painting the dowels in a dark green to blend with the garden, I wrapped the lights around each one from top to bottom, securing them with a little floral tape. Then I staked them into my garden beds, between shrubs, beside stepping stones. or tucked into large pots. As dusk settles in, they begin to glow like tiny constellations scattered across the earth. It's subtle, enchanting, and totally mood-setting. These little twinkle stakes are especially perfect if you host evening gatherings or just enjoy a quiet moment outside after sunset. They create soft pools of light without overwhelming your space, and they're easy to move around or redesign with the seasons. Small detail, big impact, and every time they light up, your garden feels like it's saying good night in the most beautiful way. 18. Faux wood slat wall. Want to give your patio or balcony a designer touch without the designer price tag? A faux wood slat wall is the answer. I created mine using paint stir sticks from Dollar Tree. Yes, those free or super cheap ones you usually ignore at the hardware store. I stained them in a deep walnut color, then arranged them horizontally across a section of my outdoor wall. Using a bit of wood glue and finishing nails, I secured them in a staggered pattern to mimic the look of high-end reclaimed wood. The result? A rich, textured backdrop that instantly made my space feel more intentional and luxurious. It's perfect behind a sofa, as a backdrop for your plant shelves, or even as a privacy screen on a balcony. And when sunlight hits those wood tones during golden hour, pure magic. This DIY slat wall didn't just upgrade my garden, it gave it a bold new identity. It's amazing how something so simple can turn a blank wall into the heart of your entire outdoor haven. Your garden, your story. So here we are, standing in the space you once overlooked, now glowing with life, personality, and heart. What began as a blank patio or tiny garden corner has become something extraordinary, not because of the price tags, but because of your creativity, your care, and your vision. Every planter you painted, every light you strung, every soft sound that drifts through the wind chimes, it's all a reflection of you. And the beauty of it? This garden will keep growing with you, season by season, idea by idea. You don't need a mansion or a massive yard. All it takes is a spark of inspiration, a few Dollar Tree supplies, and the courage to start. Let your space become your sanctuary, your playground, your masterpiece. And if this video inspired even one little seed of imagination, I hope you'll join our growing community here at Earthly Delights. Hit that subscribe button, share your garden story in the comments, and remember, your dream garden is just one DIY away. Happy planting, friends!